Vietnam isn't the kind of beauty that stays untouched. It's the kind that survives. A country where history didn't soften the edges, it sharpened them. Where the past leaves marks and the present turns them into shine. Not as a comeback story, as a forward motion you can feel in your chest. Because here, resilience isn't a slogan, it's the atmosphere. Where Ha Long's limestone crowns the water, and fog edits the horizon mid-sentence. Above Sapa, terraces step down through cloud, catching dawn like spilled gold. Beneath Ninh Binh cliffs, rivers carve green corridors so quiet they feel staged. Along Hanoi's old streets, scooters stitch the lanes into living bloodstream. Inside Hugh's citadel shade, stone holds its calm while time keeps breathing. Under Hoi An lanterns, light pours onto the river and refuses to hurry. Across Da Nang's shoreline, waves polish the sand clean, then pull the day away. Beyond the Central Highlands, coffee blossoms in cooler air, and roads tilt uphill. After dark in Ho Chi Minh City, neon ignites, and sidewalks become dining rooms. On the Mekong, dawn arrives practical boats, fruit, steam, and steady hands. Through Phong Nha's cave mouths, darkness opens wide, and water keeps chiseling secrets. Vietnam stretches along the eastern edge of mainland Southeast Asia, with mountains inland and warm seas out front. The country's mood changes fast. Some days arrive bright and dry. Others break into sudden rain that leaves streets shining like mirrors. Vietnamese is the daily music, and the currency is the Vietnamese dome. A small rule travels far. In temples and pagodas, dress modestly, keep your voice low, and ask before photographing people. Respect always reads well on camera. Next, we begin in Hanoi, where one lake slows the whole capital down, and one bowl of broth explains why Vietnam never feels like just a place. Come with me. The next frame changes everything. Hanoi doesn't announce itself with a skyline. It arrives as sound. Scooters and bicycle bells. A kettle whistling behind a narrow door. And water, one calm oval, holding the city's nerves in place. We begin at Ho An Kiem before the day gets loud. Elders trace slow circles in Tai Chi, sleeves floating like banners. A jogger steps around them without breaking the spell. Across the lake, a red bridge glows through trees, lacquered and sure. And that's where the story turns. Because in Hanoi, softness and speed share the same frame. Now we slip into the Old Quarter, where streets feel hand-built. Shop fronts spill outward: copper, paper, plastic, perfume, steam. A mechanic squats beside a motorbike, tightening something small, essential. A woman lifts a basket of herbs and laughs at a familiar face. You can feel it before you can explain it. The city is moving, but it's not frantic. It's practiced. Then we trade alleys for wide boulevards in the French Quarter. Balconies, old trees, pale facades catching the light. A cafe pours egg coffee into a glass, sweet foam trembling on top. Nearby, the Temple of Literature holds a quieter kind of authority. Courtyards of shade, stone stelae, the hush of school trips. Here's the turn. Hanoi is a capital that still makes room for reverence. At lunchtime, the proof is in a bowl. Broth arrives clear and hot, herbs bright as wet paint. The first sip hits like warmth, traveling through your chest. Across the table, a cook fans charcoal, lemongrass smoke, curling up and gone. By late afternoon, we cross toward Long Bien Bridge. Rust and river wind. The Red River spreads wide, and the city's noise thins out. Sun drops behind rooftops, and suddenly, the whole mood shifts again. Next, we follow Hanoi's doorway into deeper time, old capitals, river dynasties, and stone that still remembers the hand that carved it. Vietnam keeps its history outdoors. Not sealed away, not polished into a single story. It sits in courtyards, along rivers, under shade trees still breathing. We start where the Red River has watched centuries come and go. Old gates and moss-dark bricks stand with quiet confidence. A school group moves through an ancient site in a loose line, and their laughter bounces off stone that has heard much harder sounds. But the real surprise is how many timelines overlap at once. A temple bell rings. 2 minutes later, a delivery scooter flashes past the same doorway. That's the hinge. The past is present here, but it doesn't stop the traffic. Now we slide south toward Hue, where the perfume river slows the light. Inside the imperial city, walls hold a disciplined calm. Courtyards open, then narrow, then open again, like measured breathing. A caretaker sweeps fallen leaves from the threshold, steady, unhurried, as if keeping history alive is simply part of the morning. From there, we cut to older capitals in the limestone country. Near Hoa Lu, cliffs rise like guardians behind low temples. Incense threads upward, sweet and woody, and the air turns soft. You can feel it before you can explain it. These places were chosen for protection, for water, for the way the land holds sound. Then we pivot again because Vietnam's history isn't only Vietnamese. Along the central coast, Cham towers appear on ridgelines, brick warmed by sun, edges worn by wind. A vendor sells small offerings at the entrance, and a child watches the flame with the seriousness of a ritual. Here's the turn. This isn't nostalgia. It's continuity. Stone keeps standing. Rivers keep moving. People keep arriving, leaving, returning, adding their own layer to the same ground. Next, we climb into cooler air, highland roads, mist, and viewpoints where Vietnam changes temperature, color, and pace in a single curve. The higher you go in Vietnam, the more the country edits itself. Heat falls away. Noise thins out. And the horizon turns vertical. We drive toward the northern highlands where roads cling to ridges. Mist drifts across the asphalt like a moving curtain. Terraces step down through cloud-patient geometry made from water and time. In Sapa, morning light finds the edges of rice fields and makes them glow, then slips away again as fog closes the scene. And suddenly, the whole mood shifts. A bend opens to a valley so wide it feels unreal. A river threads through it, silver and distant. A woman walks the shoulder with a bundle of greens, boots damp, pace steady, as if the mountain is ordinary. Here's the turn. The highlands are not just beautiful, they are lived in. You see it in the hand-built fences, in the smoke rising from kitchens at midday, in the way a motorbike carries 3 generations without drama. We cut farther east toward Ha Giang's limestone ridges, where the land looks carved into sharp folds. A small roadside stall appears at the exact moment you need it. The owner pours tea into thick glasses, the steam fogging your lens. Ginger warms your throat. Wind pulls at your jacket. You can feel it before you can explain it. The road is teaching you patience. Then we pivot south to a different kind of elevation. In Dalat, pine trees soften the air, and evenings arrive cool and floral. Cafes glow behind rain-streaked windows. Coffee tastes darker here, slower, grounded. A baker slides warm bread onto a tray, taps it once, satisfied. This is the hinge. Vietnam is not one climate. It's many rooms in the same house. And when you learn the highlands, the rest of the country starts to make sense. Next, we cross the cultural seam passes, rivers, and coastlines, where accents change, flavors shift, and one Vietnam becomes another right in front of you. There's a moment in Vietnam when the air itself changes. Not in theory in your lungs. That's the hinge. You cross a pass, and the country tilts. We ride the Hoi An Pass where cloud clings to ridgelines. Below, the sea opens wide and metallic, stitched with white wake lines. Above, wind pulls at roadside flags until they snap like punctuation. A man turns grilled corn over coals at an overlook, salt in the air, smoke on your hands. But the real surprise is what happens after the descent. Hue feels measured, river slow, shade deep, walls calm. The streets carry a softer tempo, and the food leans elegant and precise. Then, not far away, Da Nang arrives like fresh electricity. Beach wind, bright sidewalks, cafes spilling outward into night. And suddenly, the whole mood shifts again. Because Vietnam doesn't change in one clean border. It changes in small details. An accent bends a little sharper. The rhythm of greeting speeds up. A bowl tastes sweeter, or saltier, or brighter, with herbs. Now we slip into Hoi An at dusk. Lanterns ignite above the river and refuse to hurry. Old shop houses hold warm light behind wooden shutters. A tailor chalks a hem, nods once, and says, "Tomorrow," a simple promise that lands like trust. Here's the turn. The real Vietnam isn't North versus South. It's a chain of regions, each with its own light. Mountains that cool the day. Coastlines that polish it clean. Rivers that carry it forward. We leave the lantern streets behind and follow the coast where stone and surf take over. The scenery stops being gentle. The landscape starts to command. Next, we chase raw geology, caves, cliffs, and jungle edges where Vietnam's backbone shows, and the ocean keeps arguing with the land. On Vietnam's central coast, the country shows its bones. Rock rises. Waves strike. And the shoreline feels like a long, patient negotiation. Near Da Nang, the Marble Mountains lift above the city's edge, stone riddled with caves and hidden shrines. You climb into cool shadow, and the heat drops away. Sunlight slices through openings in the rock, turning dust into gold. A monk passes quietly, sandals soft on stone. You can feel it before you can explain it. This is geology wearing a human story. Then we cut to the open sea. On the Sun Tra Peninsula, the road curls through green and suddenly breaks to blue. Water stretches to the horizon, clean and sharp. Fishing boats drift like commas. Wind carries salt across your lips. But the real surprise is inland. Because limestone doesn't only crown bays, it hides whole worlds. In Phong Nha country, hills look gentle from far away. Up close, they're carved and hollowed. A cave mouth opens, and cool air spills out like a slow exhale. Inside, darkness expands, and water keeps chiseling secrets into stone. Here's the turn. The most dramatic landscapes here are also quiet. Drips become a clock. Your footsteps become a language. The cave holds your voice for a second, then lets it go. Back in daylight, the forest edge feels louder. Cicadas buzz until the air seems electric. A woman at a roadside stall slices green mango, salts it lightly, and hands it over with a look that says, "Keep going." Sour, bright, cold, an instant reset. Vietnam isn't only lantern streets and city pulse. It's cliffs and caverns, jungle shade and sea glare, a place where stone and water keep shaping the frame. Next, we enter Vietnam's water world, bays, islands, and deltas, where life floats, trades, and wakes at dawn on moving rivers. Water is Vietnam's great storyteller. It carries people, food, weather, and memory, and it changes the rules the moment you step aboard. We return to the north, to Ha Long and nearby bays, where limestone towers rise straight from the water like an interrupted sentence. Mist edits the distance. Sun hits one face of rock, and shadow holds the other. A small boat glides past floating homes, wake dissolving behind it. Oars tap wood. Then silence settles in. But the real surprise is that this calm is busy. A fisherman checks a line with the patience of ritual. A woman rinses herbs at the edge of a raft, hands quick and sure. A child leans out, watching the water as if it's television. Then the map changes. We pivot south into the Mekong Delta, where land goes low and water goes wide. Canals braid through palms and gardens. The air turns warm, sweet, and heavy with fruit. At dawn, boats gather like neighbors. Pineapples stack high. Watermelons roll in nets. Steam rises from a pot at the bow. Here's the turn. The delta isn't just scenery. It's infrastructure you can taste. A bowl of soup arrives with herbs so fresh they still smell like rain. A vendor pours iced coffee, clink loud against the morning hush. On a narrow concrete path, a teenager pedals a bicycle with a bag of ice. Balance perfect, expression calm, proof that skill here is ordinary. And suddenly, the whole mood shifts again. Because Vietnam's water isn't one story. It's salt and silt, bay and canal, tide and river. A nation that can float, trade, and breathe on moving currents. Next, we go deep into green, into forests and wetlands, where the sky turns into leaves, and Vietnam feels ancient, close, and alive in every sound. Step into Vietnam's deep green, and the volume changes. Cities teach you speed. Forests teach you attention. We follow trails where sunlight arrives in brief coins, then disappears. Leaves layer overhead until the sky becomes a rumor. In places like Cuc Phuong, the air smells of wet earth and crushed leaf, cooler in the shade, warmer the moment you step into a clearing. Bird calls cut the silence like bright stitches. Somewhere deeper, water ticks from vine to stone, patient as a metronome. But the real surprise is how alive the quiet feels. You hear insects before you see them. You feel humidity on your skin like a second shirt. And suddenly, the whole mood shifts because you realize the forest is not background. It is a living system, watching, moving, adapting. Now we pivot south toward lower, thicker heat. In Cat Tien's river country, the green feels heavier, more tropical. A boat slides along the bank, engine low, wake small. Roots grip the shoreline. Butterflies lift in a sudden cloud of color, then vanish. Here's the turn. Nature here has human rhythm woven through it. A ranger pauses to pour tea from a metal kettle into small cups. He does it carefully, not spilling a drop. Warm steam meets damp air, and for a moment everything slows. A child on the path points at a leaf the size of a plate, eyes wide, as if seeing the planet for the first time. Then we trade tall forest for mangrove forests in watery places. In the South's wetlands, roots rise like stilts. Water turns dark green, reflecting leaves instead of sky. A fisherman checks a net, hands steady, face unreadable, as if the tide is a schedule he's always known. You can feel it before you can explain it. Vietnam's real wildness isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's intimate, close enough to smell, to hear, to taste in the air. Next, we chase the country's big natural drama, falls, canyons, and viewpoints where water and rock go large, and the horizon turns epic again. Vietnam knows how to go big. Not in a loud, manufactured way. In the way water and rock can make you stop mid-sentence. We travel toward the far north, where roads narrow and the land turns rugged. Then, near the borderlands, Ban Geoc appears with a sudden roar. White water spilling in wide curtains, breaking into spray, recombining again. Mist lifts off the falls and cools your face like a clean hand. Sun catches the droplets, and the air turns bright with shimmer. But the real surprise is the scale of calm around it. Rice fields sit nearby, green and still. A buffalo stands knee-deep, unbothered by the thunder. And that contrast makes the scene hit harder. Power, then peace, right beside each other. Here's the turn. Vietnam's drama doesn't always announce itself from a distance. Sometimes it waits behind a bend. a gorge opens. A river tightens. Cliffs rise like folded pages. You look down and feel your stomach lift, pure geography doing what it does. We cut south again, and the drama changes texture. In the Central Highlands, waterfalls like Pongur fan out over dark rock, steps of water breaking into soft, continuous sound. The air smells of wet stone and green moss. A family shares fruit on a flat rock, feet dangling above the stream, talking low as if not to disturb the place. And suddenly, the whole mood shifts. Because the most epic moments here are still human. A woman at a roadside stop unwraps sticky rice from a banana leaf, hands it over, and smiles like you're already known. Warm, smoky, slightly sweet comfort against the cool spray. You can feel it before you can explain it. Vietnam keeps returning you to the human scale, even when the landscape is performing. Next, we trade waterfalls and cliffs for open daylight plains, farms, and wide working country where the tempo changes completely, and the real Vietnam becomes a daily rhythm you can follow. After the big views, Vietnam gets honest. Wide daylight. Working hands. Small repeats that build a whole country. We move through the plains, where rice fields spread like green cloth, stitched by dikes and narrow paths. Water glints in channels, holding pieces of sky. A farmer bends, straightens, bends again, steady as a metronome. The air smells of wet grass, sun-warmed mud, and distant smoke. But the real surprise is how sophisticated simple can be. Irrigation lines, planting rhythms, harvest timing, quiet systems built from lived experience, not slogans. That's the hinge. The countryside isn't slower because it's behind. It's slower because it's precise. Now we slip into craft villages where skill is inherited like a family name. In Bat Trang near Hanoi, clay becomes bowls, cups, small dragons, small moons. A potter's hands are gray with slip, fingers moving without hesitation. He spins the wheel, lifts the wall of a cup, smooths the rim, and the shape appears like it was always there. Then we pivot to textiles, silk woven in narrow rooms where looms knock softly. Thread slides, catches, tightens, releases. The sound is rhythmic, calming, almost musical. A young worker ties off a finished length and smiles, proud in a way that doesn't need to be explained. And suddenly, the whole mood shifts again, because these places are not museums. They're living economies. Kids run past stacks of drying pottery. A delivery truck backs into a lane too small for it. Someone shouts directions, everyone laughs, and the truck somehow fits. At a roadside stall, iced tea clinks in glasses. A woman slices guava, dips it in chili salt, hands it over. Sweet, sharp, bright, like a small lesson in balance. Next, we go back underground and upward into darkness caves, warm springs, and night skies where Vietnam starts to glow from beneath the surface, and the map feels secret again. Vietnam has a second country underneath the first. A cooler country. A quieter one. And when you enter it, the day's noise fades like a door closing. We return to limestone regions where caves are part of the landscape's logic. From the outside, hills look soft green, rounded, ordinary. Then a cave mouth opens, and cold air spills out, clean and sudden. Inside, your footsteps sound too loud at first. Water drips in slow punctuation. Darkness expands until you stop measuring it. But the real surprise is how the dark feels built. Stalactites hang like frozen rain. Walls ripple with old flow lines, as if stone remembers every season. A guide lifts a light and aims it at a pool so still it looks like black glass. And suddenly, the whole mood shifts, because you realize the cave isn't empty. It's detailed. Here's the turn. Hidden Vietnam isn't only underground. It's also in heat that rises from the earth. In some regions, hot springs steam at dusk, turning the air silver and soft. Families sit shoulder to shoulder in warm water, talking low, laughing gently, letting the day dissolve. The scent is mineral, slightly metallic like the planet rinsing itself. Later, we step outside onto a quieter road. Motorbike headlights pass like slow fireflies. In places far from big city glare, the sky opens wider. stars appear one by one, then in clusters, until you realize you're looking at the same dark that exists above the caves, just turned inside out. A vendor pours tea into thick glasses at a night stall, steam fogging the rim, ginger warming your throat. Small comforts, big darkness. That's the hinge. Vietnam can pulse in neon and still hand you silence like a gift. Next, we return to the bright human world towns, markets, and taste, where Vietnam explains itself through bowls, stalls, crafts, and daily life you can walk through and touch. If you want the real Vietnam, follow your nose. Follow steam. Follow the clink of ice in glass. This is where the story turns, because the country becomes edible. Morning begins at a market before the sun fully commits. Plastic stools scrape the pavement. Knives tap wood in quick, confident rhythm. Herbs pile high mint, basil, scallion green, and aromatic. Fish glints on ice. Fruit perfumes the air with sugar and citrus. But the real surprise is how personal it feels. A vendor remembers a face. A cook asks with a nod, "Spicy today?" A stranger shifts their stool to make room without making it a scene. You can feel it before you can explain it. Community, practiced, and casual. We slip into a breakfast stall. Broth simmers, clear and fragrant. Herbs bright as wet paint. Lime snaps open, sharp and clean. Chili lands like a spark. A bowl arrives, and the first sip is warmth traveling through your chest. On the next corner, banh mi crackles when you bite. Crust loud, fillings bright with pickle and herbs. Then we pivot into cafes, where Vietnam's modern energy shows its style. In Hanoi, egg coffee tastes sweet and velvet. In the South, iced coffee hits darker, louder, more direct. A barista taps the filter, waits, then smiles when the drip finally falls. A tiny ritual, repeated 1,000 times a day. Here's the turn. Food is geography. Hue leans refined, layered, careful. Hoi An leans lantern soft and river sweet. Saigon leans fast, abundant, fearless. And in smaller towns, the meals feel like open doors. A woman grills skewers over charcoal, fanning the flame with cardboard. Lemongrass smoke curls up and disappears. A child carries a tray of drinks through a tight alley, balancing perfectly, eyes forward, not asking for applause. Next, we follow how Vietnam marks time, seasons, rituals, and festivals. Because when the calendar turns, the entire country changes its lighting, its flavors, and its pace. Vietnam keeps time in weather and ritual, not just in dates. The year turns, and the whole country changes its lighting. That's the hinge. Seasons here don't merely decorate life. They reorganize it. In the north, winter can arrive cool and misty. Streets quieter in the morning, tea warmer in your hands. Then spring comes in with blossoms and fresh heat, and rain begins to show up like a sudden decision. Fast, heavy, then gone, leaving the city rinsed and shining. But the real surprise is how celebrations stay close to home. During Tet, streets brighten, families gather, doorways get cleaned and dressed. A father hangs fresh decorations with careful hands. A neighbor steps in to help without being asked. A child watches, serious as if learning a trade. You can feel it before you can explain it. Joy here is communal work. Now we slip into temple courtyards where incense rewrites the air. Smoke curls into beams of light. A bell rings once, low and round, and the mood softens. People move slower, voices lowered, shoes placed neatly at the threshold. Respect is not a performance. It's a shared language. Then we pivot to lantern season in old towns, when streets glow warmer and rivers hold reflections like secrets. Paper lanterns sway overhead. Small cakes appear in baskets. Laughter rises from night markets and dissolves into music. And suddenly, the whole mood shifts, because the same streets that rush at noon can feel ceremonial after dark. Here's the turn. Ritual in Vietnam isn't only festival. It's daily gestures. Tea offered to a guest. A brief pause at a shrine. A quiet bow before stepping inside. Next, we leave the bright crowds and take the quiet roads, villages, coast bends, and small crossings, because the most unforgettable Vietnam is often the one that doesn't try to impress you at all. To see Vietnam clearly, you have to let it quiet down. So we leave the headline places for a while. We take smaller roads where the country stops performing and simply lives. The highway fades. A narrower ribbon of asphalt appears, bordered by fields and palms. Motorbikes pass with a soft buzz, then disappear. Wood smoke hangs faint in the air. Somewhere, a rooster calls like it owns the morning. But the real surprise is how much of the real Vietnam is built on small kindness. At a roadside stall, a woman refills your water without a word, then points down the road with 2 fingers, calm and certain. A mechanic waves you over, tightens a loose bolt, and sends you on your way like it's nothing. We slip into a village lane where doors are open and life is visible. Someone is washing greens in a metal bowl. Someone is slicing fruit on a low table. A radio hums behind a curtain. Children run past, barefoot, laughing, not looking back. You can feel it before you can explain it. This is not curated. It's real. Later, the road bends toward water again, not a famous bay, not a big river. Just a simple ferry crossing where the current slides beneath you. The boat creaks. A rope tightens. The far bank drifts closer, slow and steady. A schoolgirl steps on board, tucks her hair behind her ear, and watches the shoreline move away with the calm of someone who's done this all her life. That micro moment lands hard, ordinary skill, everyday courage. And suddenly, the whole mood shifts again. Because after all the spectacle, what stays with you is texture. Warm tea, wet air, herb-scented smoke, patience in people's hands, and the way light changes everything. Next, we gather it all stone, water, and lantern light into one final meaning. Because Vietnam isn't just a destination. It becomes a rhythm you carry home. Vietnam doesn't end with a single view. It ends the way a good story ends, by returning to its motifs, changed by everything in between. Stone is one of its languages. Ha Long's limestone crowns the sea like a broken crown made whole. Highland ridges fold and sharpen the horizon, Old walls in Hue hold quiet the way a hand holds warmth. Caves open beneath the hills, and darkness turns into architecture. Water is the other language, always moving, always teaching. A lake slows a capital down. Rivers stitch north to south, carrying silt, light, and memory. Rain arrives fast, then leaves streets shining like mirrors. In the Mekong, dawn becomes work boats, fruit, steam, steady hands. And then there is the human light. Lanterns in Hoi An. Neon in the south. Charcoal flames under morning broth. A vendor who remembers your face. A stranger who makes room. A guide who pours tea like time has no urgency. Here's the turn. The real Vietnam most people never see isn't hidden behind a secret door. It's right there on the side streets, on the quiet crossings, in the in-between hours when the country isn't trying to impress anyone. It's a nation that has carried hard chapters and refused to become only that. History didn't soften the edges. It sharpened them. And the present turns those marks into shine. You can feel it before you can explain it. In the way scooters flow without rage. In the way families gather without spectacle. In the way landscapes change your breathing as you move through them. Vietnam is not a checklist. It's a forward motion. A rhythm of stone, water, and light. And if you let it, it follows you home.